And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm touching base with you as I always do. And Chris is right here. What's going on, Chris? Can't hear you, sir. Oops. Go back again. Couldn't hear you. Nope. Yeah, we can't hear you, sir. Go back. You may have to go out
Sorry,
and
there
come
you
back.
go.
Oh,
Mic
there
was
you are.
live, but it was muted. I don't know why it was muted.
Welcome, sir. So much on this trend Thursday, TrendWatch Thursday. So much in the news. Pretty much the only thing that's in the news right now is the orange man being a fool.
Well, hold on. Before you make that statement, there's breaking news today. I don't know if anyone's really following other than that news, but there is a multi-prisoner swap going on right now. Russia agrees to free Evan Jurcevic and Paul Whelan. They're on their way back home. Yeah, that broke about an hour ago or so.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's between Russia, Germany, and the U.S.
Should I be using my breaking news like banner?
You have one? You do have one. You do have one.
That's right. I do have my breaking news. Oh, this is great. But let's welcome some folks in. It is a new day. People are in the chat like, holy moly. Good morning. Omar is the first person in the room. He said, I'm claiming my spot back.
He usually is.
Hannah's been beating him. Hannah has been like, and then Aya yesterday said, I'm in it. I'm in this race.
Okay.
So anyway, Omar is number one today. He gets it. Bing, 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 bing. I need a bell. I need something over here. and second out the gate is Miss G. G, I just sent you an invitation if you want to hang out and come on. We're going to be talking crazy. We are going to be talking. This is a panel discussion. Community is in the building. She goes, hey, Omar. Hey, Gwendolyn. I love it. I love it. Ron is late. No, I was waiting for my friend.
Yeah, I apologize. I was running a little bit late. I was actually on a call trying to get off of.
So I am here. We are here, and we got a lot to talk about. Mr. B is in the building. Hey, y'all, doggone it, Omar, Gwendolyn, do y'all sleep right next to the keyboard to get in first? There's Hannah. There's our Hannah. She says, good morning, Ron and Chris. And Aya is in the building with her grand rising. Happy August. It is the first day of August. July is gone. July 2024 is in the history book.
Already.
Man, and a whole lot happened in July 2024. You will always remember July 2024. It's one of those periods in history when people will say, where were you when? Where were you when? Okay, who else is in the building? Chris is in the building. Yeah, she says Chris, the prisoner swap. Omar says he saw that. Yep, saw that swap on the news. And so you guys are in. While I was making my lemonade, the news came out. I was making my lemonade as well.
That was like breaking news. They stopped everything. That's what they've been talking about for the last hour and a half or so.
Gotcha. And I see here Anthony's in the building. Anthony Roland is in the building. Such a strong name, Anthony Roland. It's like an author. Anyway, I'm going down that road. Sorry, I don't want to bother you, Anthony. I was tempted. Kimmy is in the building. What's going on, Kimmy Kim? Kimmy is in the building. Omar says, I won the 50% coupon to nothing. We need to figure out a way that if people accumulate the first ends, there's a winning prize at the end of the month or something. We gotta figure it out. We gotta figure it out. Yeah. We gotta figure out the race to be here first. That would be cool. I see here the girls club. Good morning. She says we made it to August. Anthony says he appreciates the love. We love you, Anthony. We love you. And it says, I am so very proud of you, Omar. And I see everybody's in here. Okay, so without any further ado, y'all know what's in the news. Well, first of all, I mean, did anyone see the NABJ
BJ.
convention? Did anyone see it? Did anyone in this room? I saw the whole thing. So, you know, me, the geek I am, I saw it in action. Like, you get the clippets, but the clippets don't give you the justice when you see it in its all content. The whole context.
Can I say something about that? Because I know there
Yes.
are people are of two minds when it comes to this. A lot of people are up in arms about the fact that they invited him to begin with and gave Kamala Harris, a hard time for not being there in person when her staff clearly said her schedule was very tight and they wanted to figure out a way for her to be there remotely. And at first they said no, but that's neither here or there, whatever. But I'm actually kind of glad that he accepted the invitation. I'm going to tell you why. Every opportunity that he gets to be on stage, to say the quiet parts out loud, I want him to do that because I want people to see who he really is. He put on full display who he is unapologetically by disparaging Black women on stage in front of a room of Black people. The ignorance of saying he did not know that she was a Black woman. You know, all the things, calling out the news reporters who are asking the question that they're nasty women. I mean, just saying all those things that we know of him to be, you know?
Why is it when it comes to women, he always has the nasty phrase?
Because that's
and
who
this
he
is
is.
All women, not
this is
every woman seems to be nasty,
but especially Black women. And the other thing was, you know, I think why he even really agreed to do this was because there was a woman from Fox News that was there there to appease him.
I was like,
you know, I was a little upset at first that they brought him there, but then when I really thought about it, I was like, you know what? It's a good thing that he's there. Allow him to showcase his true self.
Yes.
There's no question of what he said. There's no, oh, maybe he meant this. No, it was live for everyone to see and hear for themselves.
Well, guess what? We have a special guest on here that is very well connected to media and that follows this stuff pretty much like we do. And I'm so glad she is here to join us. Dr. Tachi in the building.
Yeah! Good morning.
Good morning. How are you both?
The Tachi is in the building. DT is in the building. I call her DT. I always say DT.
He
DT.
does. Two of my favorite people.
So what's going on? First of all, hello, Dr. Tachi. And how are you doing this morning? And then we're going to dive right in. You can just start whenever you're ready.
I'm fantastic.
Give us your perspective.
I need to put this water nearby. So let me open
Come on, bring it.
Oh my!
So I'm listening to some of the things that you both are saying. Yes, 100%. However, what I don't like about this, let's go back.
Let's start from the beginning.
NABJ, it is typical for the National Association of Black Journalists to invite presidential candidates, other political figures to their annual convention. And I'm saying there because I am not a member of NABJ. And after I saw this, I said, I knew there was a reason I didn't join.
I've heard other journalists say that. They say some said they don't join, but then some love the mentoring and all the other stuff that goes on with it. But go ahead.
That's true. But let me say this. And I was thinking about this last night before we get into that. So I never joined NABJ because people always ask me every year, hey, are you going to the conference? Especially one year it happened to be here. Hey, NABJ is here. I was like, oh, okay. But my thoughts and sites are usually on conferences where I'm going to get the most bang. It's all NABJ is good for a self-esteem building. It's good for contacts. It's good for those types of things, and which is great. And I'm all for that. But my thing is, not only do I need contacts, I need that continuing education. And I'm not sure that they have the continuing education part of it, because when I look at the roster, it usually is like a topic and people talking about that. Damn it, I'm done with those kinds of conferences. I need to learn something. So I'm not interested in going to any more conferences unless there is a learning component with actionable steps where I can better myself. I know I'm fabulous. I don't need to go someplace and be told I'm fabulous. Okay, we all know we're fabulous. We don't need that. So that's why I tend not to go. So I usually put my sights into the NAB, or National Association of Broadcasters, because I could get the journalist end, I could get the camera end, I could get all of that. Okay, so that's one thing with that. But for people who are members of NABJ, that's great. However, this is what I don't like about this whole thing. It is customary for them to invite, as I said, but this is a different case. I think we have to realize as media outlets when we are being used. And this was a clear case of their media outlet or their collective media presence as being used. So even though, yes, there was a person that would have been quote unquote friendly, the Fox reporter, the Fox journalist, regardless of that, I still think that was an opportunity. His camp probably said, hey, this is a great opportunity for you to XYZ. I've never heard him talk about NABJ anything before. I've never heard him talk about the NABH, NABHJ, Hispanic journalist.
NABJ.
Right. The Hispanic journalist. I've never heard him talk about anything else except to appeal to his David Koresh-like base. I've never heard any of that. So now that things are under the wire, because really this was a last minute thing. Nobody knew about this, because if he was really interested in appealing and gaining their vote, and he really saw them as a serious part of this, months ago, last year, when you were spewing your vitriol and knew you were going to run again, that's when you try to pull anybody. But he doesn't see them as serious contenders. And he showed this by showing out on stage. Why do we, and I'm going to say this, why do Black women, in this case, Black women journalists, why do we continue to have to be the experiment to prove that he is what he is? We already know that he was going to do this. And all you have to do is go to the different social media, to all of their social media. I spent yesterday going to see what people were saying, because you know, when you want to learn, sometimes you run to the comments. And people were annoyed and upset. And usually, yes, I am for balance. But the fact that you were so quickly running behind him to get him there, but you wouldn't accommodate Harris, really says something. That really, really says something. And so my thing is that he started off being nasty, as he said, with the ABC journalist. He started off with that. And so the thing is, you weren't interested in clearing the record or showing what you stood for at all. You were there to denigrate, to embarrass, to show people that they weren't, because he talked about them starting 40 minutes late. But if I'm not mistaken, was not his fault? He talked about them. That's NABJ, and they can't hear because of their equipment. So he said
get their equipment working.
Their equipment wasn't working. He set out to denigrate them and show them as less than, so that they can be accepted as less than in the public's mind. So you started with that agenda. How you hold journalists, a whole man that's in charge of the NABJ, you couldn't recognize that was the case? Whatever notoriety you thought this and news cycle this was going to bring, it paled in comparison to the anger and upset of your members, who, by the way, pay. How dare you? How very dare you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wait, if I'm correct, didn't the head of NAB step down?
One of them.
Has he stepped down? I didn't see that.
One of the people that was one of the top leadership. Yeah, I think it was a she.
She co-chair. She's either the co-chair or the chair of the convention.
Yes.
Stepped down.
okay.
Step down.
Okay.
Because she
Okay.
was not told that was on the agenda. So apparently it was a last minute thing. And that's another thing. Why should you were an afterthought? I'm sure you already invited him months ago, but now you're excited about it. Say, can we stop Negroing? Can we stop Negroing, please?
Yes. Amen. So, Dr. Tachi, for those that don't know, she's a professor. One, that's why she is Dr. Tachi. And number two, she is, can I say it again? She is a journalist. So that's why when she said, she just sends me a text. I was like, I want you on. Please come on tomorrow.
I was like, I know you're going to talk about this, right?
You know I am. I was like, please come on, Dr. Tachi. And but again, you look at the whole engagement. Like you say, he comes in. First of all, he hates Rachel Scott. You see him in the press corps over the years. This is not just something that just happened.
Exactly.
I mean, you look at, he goes up to her. Oh, you would give me you would ask me a stupid question because you're stupid. I mean, he says that to her all the time. He has always been mean. He has always, but also, this man hates Black women.
He does.
Professional Black women who command their space. He doesn't know how to deal with them. He doesn't know how to interact because they're not stupid. Because what do we know statistically? Black women are the highest educated group in America.
Here's something that stood out to me yesterday when he got up on stage and said, "Oh, I don't even think she has her bar degree." Sir, that just shows your ignorance and stupidity. In order to be a district attorney, you have to have passed the bar. In order to be attorney general, you have to have passed the bar. I mean, now they're questioning her ethnicity. Next, he's going to question, was she actually born here? This is the same.
Oh, he already did that. They've already done that.
Done in 2016. He is just repeating the playbook, and people are tired of it.
And the same thing he's done in 2008. Remember with Obama, he started this with the birther movement. What the other side tries to do is question your legitimacy when they know that they cannot beat you through. In fact, they've never been able to beat through normal, sane means. So the thing is, they tear down. I find it tantamount to, remember back in the day, whenever they were talking about beauty pageants, how sometimes these women would pour ink on the dresses and just so the other couldn't win. Well, if you were that excellent, why are you worried about somebody else? This is a case of that. They are trying to pour ink on the ball gowns so that they cannot go out there and show how excellent they are. But because you're mediocre, or sub-mediocre, you are sub-mediocre. You have to do things to demolish so that you can actually shine. It's very simple.
It's the oldest. It's the oldest playbook.
Mm-hmm.
It's the oldest chapter in the playbook. And so, what you see here is that. Well, first I have a question, and then I'll go. My question is: was this a good or bad move for NABJ? Was this a good move for them? What is there anything good that can come out of this? And what was so bad about it? I know, first of all, folks were upset knowing that he was coming on. There were people that lost their minds. How? Because this is not any other election. Trump is not any other person. The man has white supremacists at his home. He's done everything to degrade and go after everything that's Black. Yet he says he loves Blacks. I mean, it's like the contradictory of life.
He's the best for Black people.
He does nothing but lie. Okay, so however, I personally may be seeing something. I'll throw in my thoughts after. But what do you think? How do you think this is going to play out? One is this a pro or is this a con? And if you have the pros, let me know. And if you have a con, let me know.
It's always a con when your own people put you in a position to be embarrassed, humiliated yet again. This happens to her all the time. Why? Amongst my own, this is supposed to be a space where I feel comfortable. Yes, you're supposed to ask hard-hitting questions, that you're not exempt from that. You're supposed to be faced with things. As journalists, you're also faced with things that are not perfect and situations like this. But to set it up purposely for that to be the case, that's where I have the problem. Is it a good thing? Yes, because now we see the decision making of the leadership of NABJ and how they are still defending and how they thought this was okay. And then they came in, oh, well, we're going to have, PolitiFact come in with fact checking, which didn't happen all the way. And the journalists on stage didn't catch everything that he was saying that was a lie. So how is this helpful in the greater scheme of things, except now, not only have you worked to, again, denigrate Black women journalists who already have it hard because you wanted to have this moment in the sun, but now you fractured the membership. Members are upset. They are very upset. So how are you going to, I mean, all you have to do is just look at the comments, like I said, on social media. But on top of that, April Ryan, she has been.
I love my April. I love me some April.
I love April Ryan.
Listen, if you're not someone that watches MSNBC, please go and watch the interview that Joy Reid had with April Ryan last night. That was
so good.
A perfect interview of what people are feeling across the board.
Exactly. And April Ryan is just absolutely amazing. And she is a serious journalist. She knows her stuff. She's now at also the Griot, which was the publication I was formerly with. And Joy Reid, I think I said, was my editor at that time. So of course, I don't know April Ryan. I know Joy. But these are women that are journalists that are to be respected. And here's the thing. Black people, when we're in the journalism space, there's already a tendency by the mainstream not to believe. So all we have to do is look at the Black press and how we treat the Black press. Oh, that's the Black newspaper. Or the colored paper, as people like to say, right? Or that's, the Black news or whatever. So we're already put in a position of we are not up to the mustard of other news organizations. So why do we continuously sometimes do things to make sure that we are never considered fully? And here's the thing. I think too, there's this thing with this. Remember with the debate, the Black press was not invited. The first presidential debate with Biden and him.
Before you go there, though, I want to just, since we did mention her, I want to just share this because this was so priceless, and I want people to know where it is. Obviously, MSNBC. This is from MSNBC. Let's play it so you can hear it. Let's see if we can hear it real quick.
Very right-wing MAGA fan base of him standing up to the Blacks. Joining me now is April Ryan, White House correspondent for the Griot and an MSNBC contributor. April, deep breaths. I watched that today in absolute horror. You were one of the people who spoke out against this invitation. Talk to me about how in the world it happened in the first place.
Well, first of all, the NABJ, an advocacy group for Black journalists, the Black press, extends invitations every election cycle to the presidential candidates. But for this cycle, this special and unique cycle, Donald Trump was invited, but we know the story, and this is where I'm going to put the bucket. We know the story. We've seen the movie. We spit the popcorn out and all of that. We know who he is to the Black press, how he has berated us, how his minions have berated us, from himself to Tucker Carlson, who have come after me, Yamiche Alcindor, and you, Joy. And so many others, like Sonny Hostin from The View, Donna Brazile, Abby Phillips, so many, Don Lemon. And understanding this, and you are an advocacy group for the press, why would you invite someone that in 2018 you said you were appalled at his actions and used our pictures to say that, so you're not appalled. What was this for? Was this for showing clout? Was this really for journalism's sake? Or was this just to pop your collar, I can get a presidential candidate? This was, it was insulting. My chest hurt the whole time. It was a shock and awe moment. I'm still trying to deal with it because the way he went down to Rachel, I'm very concerned.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is, Rachel.
So you heard that. I mean, April really drives it home. And it was just crazy. So go ahead, Dr. Tachi. So it kind of like ties into what you were saying with the, you know, how these people are to act.
Absolutely. The Black press was not invited at that time. And I don't know if it's on. So the president of the NABJ is Ken Lemon. You know, no relation that I know of to Don Lemon. I don't know. Like April Ryan was saying, is this a feather in his cap to say we got X, Y, Z? But then you did that at the expense of your membership, and you, as Black, at the very tenets of the organization is to protect the integrity of journalism, right? Which you didn't do by inviting him, and protect the integrity of Black journalists, which you didn't do by allowing them to be barraged by this heathen.
Yes.
And I did call him a heathen. He is. I'm not going to be nice. I think.
And you're being nice. You're being nice.
I am. There are a lot of other things I could call him.
There's a lot of colorful metaphors to describe him.
Exactly. But I think, you know, back to your point of, was there any good that came out of this? No. I don't think, because the point of, well, now he's shown exactly who he is. We know, and we've been known who he is. You guys are New Yorkers. We knew who he was from the word jump. So this is not new. This is not news. This is who he is. This is who he always has been. So did you think he was going to get in front of the Negroidian population and say something different? No. He does not have the capacity to go ahead and shift gears. He says what he says and never apologizes for, and then he lies. So he says what he says out of hate and vitriol, and he lies. And I think it goes beyond hate and vitriol for him. He has a need to be the center of attention. Remember, for a long time, he was a Democrat. If he cannot get the center of attention where he is, he will flip sides and say anything to get people to love him.
Well, you know why he decided to actually go
there?
Take
it there, Chris. Take it there. I know you're going to go
out of the spotlight for the last 11 days. The Harris campaign has been front and center. No one's talking about Trump. Trump, quote unquote, was averted an assassination attempts. It was in the media spotlight for maybe about all of a week, and then when Biden decided to step out and elevate Harris, no one was talking about him.
He is livid. He is livid that he is not.
His ego can't take it. And the fact that a Black woman is getting all this press, it burns at his inner core. And I'm not even gonna say soul because he doesn't have one. His inner core. Okay.
Yeah. This was like, and that was the big point yesterday too. Is that a lot of journalists, a lot of folks were saying, a lot of commentators. Also, Roland Martin does a great replay of the whole convention and the whole interaction. Don Lemon does a good job at it, but I think Roland Martin does the best, and I should say the best is the readout from with Joy Reid. Our Joy is amazing. I love me. I feel like I know Joy like personally because I'm just in her feed all the time. But Joy is amazing, and she's an amazing journalist, and she has taken. What I love about these moments for Joy. She is now, Rachel Maddow has been pretty much the
face of
girl, the face of MSNBC.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're in a new era.
Mm-hmm.
And Joy has now taken, not that they're in competition, but we are really seeing the strength of having Joy in that news forum. Because
I agree with you.
She's attacking Project 2025. She's on board with Kamala Harris. She's sharing information all day long, even her private feeds. She's on the train. She's on her pillow. She's kind of like texting and sharing. She is driving the news in MSNBC where Black people and people of color or people that are women, whoever's following Harris and all those that hate Trump or dislike him, she is driving home every single point, every single day. And she has enough clout, which I am beginning to, I always knew she was something to be reckoned with at MSNBC. Because they did try to get rid of her, but they were like, well, they need to second think that because of who she is and who she knows. She is well connected.
Oh my goodness. Her level of connection. And I've told this story before. When I met her, I happened to meet her in a parking lot. We were all covering something to do with food deserts here. Yes. And so we were all covering that. And we were just talking in the parking lot. And when the way she was talking about things, and she lived here for a while. So the way she was covering like local politics and I was like, this woman is brilliant. I have to find my words because I feel like I'm not worthy. And so that's how we started, the conversation just from talking to her. But her level of brilliance is unparalleled. Not only is she a stellar journalist, she is just really, when we talk about brilliant, she is brilliant.
Yes.
And this comes through. She comes through. And this is knowledge that she's just able to rattle off, that she has retained and she just rattled off. She's absolutely amazing. And, the thing is, it's interesting. Somebody in the chat said that, I think it was Miss Elise, that they should have had all women journalists up there, which I agree. I think it should have been a mix of men and women. I've heard the name Roland Martin thrown around. I think Joy Reid would have been excellent for that. Now, again, this was
on today. Thing. She's going to be. She's speaking. I think today. She has the podium today, and she wanted to cushion the moment yesterday because she said she is going all in. Today.
He wouldn't have gone if he knew that she would have been there to question. There's no way in hell.
No,
he would have won.
No, because he cannot match her scruples. He cannot. And that's why he felt a little more comfortable. Not that these three are not good journalists. That's not the thing. But he felt a little more comfortable because he has that audacity to think that Black women are less than. So now you have three. But however, there's a difference between that and then Joy Reid. Joy Reid is on another level completely. Completely.
Elise says, I'm sure that he ignored the organization until Kamala became the candidate. And this is the truth because they said they've given him the invitation many times.
Yes.
And he ignored it. This was his first time saying that he was coming. And he said it at the last minute.
And they should have ignored his.
And they should have ignored him and said, you know what, sir, you're too late. No, we don't want you. But they made a decision to put him on.
And now, consequently, what has happened? Let's go back to the fracturing of the organization. Ooh. Just in this alone, you've had the co-chair of the entire event, or the chair, I can't remember which one she is, step down and not want to be involved. On top of that, they've had to cancel several sessions. If you look at go to the NABJ website and go to their social media, they put up the sessions that have been canceled. Now, it is customary that if that happens at every conference, sometimes things are out of the control and things are canceled. But I noticed, I'm like, why are all these sessions canceled? And part of it is because there were people who, because of this, said, I'm not doing it.
Yes, I saw that some people said they were not coming. They were not being a part of it. If Trump was going to be if he was invited and they did not rescind that invite, they were not going to participate.
So they've now left. This is okay. Here's a good thing about this. Again, we now know what the leadership is like there, and members will move swiftly and quickly when the next election comes. I don't know that he's going to step down for this. I haven't really heard calls for him to step down. Yeah, I don't know if you all have, but I haven't heard that yet. But if that's not the case, believe the next election cycle, he's not even a thought. And there are going to be much harder questions toward candidates to lead the organization forward, because now you've done it. If you wanted to do something big, sir, you have done it. Mr. Lemon, you have fractured an entire major organization of Black journalists. Very good. Congratulations. So
You know, that book, that everything that Trump touches is destroyed. The man destroys everything he touches. It's just, to me, it's still phenomenal that there are people that follow this man. I mean, it's just insane.
But listen, here's the thing. When your own family wants nothing to do with you, that says something. That speaks volumes. I mean, his nephew was on The View earlier this week talking about how he said, let your son just die and move on.
He said that to the nephew.
Yes.
You know what? Because for those who don't know, Fred Jr. is the son of Fred Trump, which is the brother of Trump.
Yes.
Fred, who became a pilot, who did not want the family fortune. He wanted to do life his way. The father was upset with him. He was marked as the bad sheep, the black sheep.
And they took away his trust fund.
And made Trump in charge of it, and all kinds of craziness that went on in this family. However, what happened is that Fred Jr., which is the nephew of Trump,
correct,
said, I mean, he had a son that was disability, lifetime disability.
He's in a wheelchair.
But he was on a machine. He was sick. They needed money for him to help him. And Trump said, "Why are we using money? Why do you want to add more money to this? Let's let him die."
That's what he said.
Who says
about another human being?
First one is another human being, but not only that, someone in your own family. And this guy is beyond sick.
When a person shows you who they are, believe them.
First time.
He's been showing us for decades.
The thing is, this is less about him and more about a side that wants to get to power. He's just a stupid enough puppet that they can twist him the way that they like. And then he has his base is daft as two smashed flies. So they all together make for a recipe of the rise of this man, right? You have, for some reason, and this is interesting, you know how, look, when people always try to be friends with people that are influential and rich, right? Have you ever seen people who are like really into celebrity and they're like, oh, well, I know such and such, and I know, and they're really, really into it, as if their celebrity and money is going to rub off on them.
Yeah.
So this is what we see with a lot of their base. For some reason, because he's wealthy,
imaginatively,
in his mind, he's wealthy. They think that somehow that trickles down to them. He gives not two damns about you.
He could care less about them. He does not. He detests them.
He's using you like he did the NABJ.
He made some stupid remark yesterday regarding the widow of the man that was shot at his rally. I mean,
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, he used it in a joke or something. Yes, in the rally that when he was in last night, he went to another rally in Pennsylvania or something. Yesterday, when he left this convention, he went to another rally. But this guy is the worst. But we all know that in this community, we all know that. Now, here's my thought. Now, I was totally against this in the very beginning. I was like, this is ridiculous. First of all, we don't need Trump to be on the stage to know what Trump is like. We all know who he is. We don't need he don't need to be invited to this amazing event for journalists.
Right.
What they should have did was had, I understand that they do this every year. They have this invitation to VPs, presidents, people come, every year. However, this is not a normal person. He is not a normal candidate. Trump is only running to keep himself out of jail. Can we all get that straight? He is only running to keep himself out of jail. And the Heritage Foundation is using him for their greater means.
Yes.
That's what that is all about. The Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society, They're all using Trump. He is what the Russians said he is, a useful fool.
Yes.
That's what the Russians call them. And they use that term quite often when it comes to people like Trump. A useful fool. And the Heritage Society, Heritage Foundation, and the Federalist Society are both using Trump. And he needs them just as much as they need him, because he does not want to go to jail. This is all. He could care less about this country. He could care less about the people of this country. He can care less about the Constitution. He can even care less about being a dictator. He just thinks that's the caveat.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not running to be a dictator. This man wants to be a dictator. He wants to be like those others. But his main objective is to stay out of jail. The presidency is his get out of jail card free.
And then can we talk about what he said to his Christians that he loves so much? All you have to do is vote this time, because in 4 years, you'll never have to vote again.
You won't have to do it again.
Listen to what the man is saying. Okay? He's saying all the quiet parts out loud.
But did you notice how quiet the room was when he said that?
Yes.
And yeah, everything went shh. It's kind of like sucked the air out. Speaking of the Heritage Foundation, the Project 2025 director leads the Heritage Foundation after Democrat attacks and Trump criticism. When you put your stupidity out into the world, there is going to be intellectuals, people, there is going to be a slapback. There's going to be people that are like, you want to do what? And they have gotten so much negative publicity that this guy has to resign. But this is all a show.
Yeah,
this is theater.
This is just theater. He's just going to be working in the back scenes. There's 175 people from the Trump administration that worked on this Heritage Society Project 2025. So can we get that all? They're going nowhere. And Trump, we all know he's a liar. He lies about, the man cannot speak without lying. For him, a lie is like sucking in air to breathe.
That is his truth. Lies are his truth.
Lies are his truth. You don't have to cover up your lies when everything is a lie.
Exactly.
So what do you think about, I mean, I'll talk to you. I mean, how do you think this is going to impact? One is the election. Do you think this will impact the election anyway? Do you think this is going to impact the reputation of the Heritage Society? What do you think from a journalist point of view and from
in terms of him stepping down?
Yes,
this does nothing.
It does nothing.
I'm sorry. As Brian said in the comments, the plan is already in place. They're already, and they have been working on this since the end of the civil rights movement. Okay, they have been working on these types of things, so this is not new. It's just now put together in a rubbish 900-page document. That's what's new, but the remnants of this have been around. So him stepping down does nothing. That's like when you have dictators, right? You've set it up as a dictatorship. This dictator steps down or gets ousted by a coup, doesn't matter. They're replaced by another one. There is another person that is going to replace him with just as diabolical and delusional a vision and a dream. Again, this is interesting because there's a lot of deflection when it comes to these things. The whole thing with Project 2025 is to take America back to the place when it was for them, by them, of them, which in a sense it still really is. But when you're like that, this is why I keep calling these individuals and individuals like this mediocre, because you don't have to be excellent. You don't have to do anything but be white in order for this to work for you.
Look at JD Vance. Speaking of mediocre.
Oh, he's the most mediocre
total shit show. Let's call it what it is. He's a shit show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
JD Vance.
Yes. Yes, he's absolutely repulsive and deplorable and a liar as well. And I am not going to separate the action from the people. Him and the other one, they're liars. You are a
He's
liar.
probably even worse than Trump, though, when you really think about it. He's probably worse than him.
Well,
he even has.
Well, go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
No, he even has people that were friends with him coming out and saying they cannot believe who he is pretending to be on stage now, because this is not the person that they know. You know, he was all for transgender rights, and you know, his wife is not even a white woman.
No. See, but this is the interesting thing. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
360 degrees. He's another person. It's almost like it's a remake of a person. First of all, I don't understand the mindset or the thinking. How would you have this guy on your ticket?
Why not?
That called you Hitler. That called you all these names. That hated you. Told people that he hated you.
But every one of Trump's supporters hated him at one point. As long as they come to the camp of Trump and speak,
it's power.
He will bring you in, and then the minute you turn on him, oh, I don't even know who this person is.
And the thing is, too, there's a good amount of fear mongering and fear tactics that are involved. That the people that are his cult members generally feel disempowered. They feel like they have no options. And these are the sub-mediocre people now, right? So because they're sub-mediocre, these people need a scapegoat and someone to blame. Wonderful. People of color. Wonderful. DEI. Wonderful. Affirmative that. It's because of that we don't have X, Y, Z. Not because they're sub-mediocre and could never cut the mustard themselves. It's because someone else, they have such a high external locus of control. Everything that happened is because of somebody else, right? But again, look at him. Cheeto Satan.
I mean, the door blows off of a plane is because of a DEI hire. The woman that was piloting the plane was a black woman. She saved everyone on board, but yet and still, it's her fault that the door opened up, and it had nothing to do with her. It makes no sense. And people need to really just open their eyes and say, look, this makes no sense. What they're talking about is pure rubbish. Stop listening to this trash.
You can't convince them. They're lost. Listen, what we need to do is spend our time communing with the people who get it and who know. The other ones are lost. They have to stay at the base of the mountain. We climb to the summit. Leave them at base camp. There's no hope for them. I'm sorry. I am done trying to explain, convince, cajole. I don't have time for it. Let me spend the time with the people who get it and who know. You're beneath me at this point at base camp.
I am with you on that, because I am a believer that there are some people that when you're in a cult, and the more you tell people they are in the cult, the more you try to tell them something negative about their dear leader, they dive deeper into the cult. It's just cult behavior, and it is a psychological complexity around people that are connected to cults. And this is, you think about Jim Jones, you think about the folks Waco, Texas, and
David
all the
Koresh.
other all these people that are connected to cults, and you listen to the parents or the loved ones that have tried to get their daughters and their sons out of those cults. I mean, you would think the love of a mother could get that person out of the cult, or the love of a father could get them out of the cult. It can't happen. The people in the cult, something traumatic has to happen to shake them out of the cult. And some will still go even to death.
When we look, I mean, all you have to do, and these cases are very sad. If we look at Jim Jones and what happened there, what was the major catalyst that started to make people wake up? When he said, we are all going to die together, drink this Kool-Aid. They were like, wait a minute now. This is not what we signed up for. But those who didn't do it were shot.
Yeah.
This is to this level. It is to that level that he is making people try to drink the Kool-Aid, but nothing traumatic has happened yet. Even the fact that somebody got shot at one of the rallies, For him, it's like, oh, well, that's a casualty of war.
That's what he thinks. That's what he says. That is exactly how he is thinking.
Yeah.
And the tragedy is that these people are willing to go to jail for him.
Yes.
They're willing to lose their lives for him. And those are the dangerous ones. Because even though Kamala will win, I really believe Kamala is going to win this election. I think she's going to win. I feel it in my gut she's going to win. That's why he's acting up also, because he sees the writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
He knows he can't, because elections is a game of addition and subtraction.
Yeah.
That man did not go on that platform yesterday for additions. No one in that audience is going to become a Trump follower from how he performed.
No.
But that's why he lost in 2020.
Yeah, he's not a man that is running for keeps, as in adding to his followers, adding voters. This man knows he's going to lose, but he's setting the stages up by getting his radical people, religious, the radical religious, the radical white supremacists, all of those, all the dog whistles. He's gathering them all together by doing all these things.
Yes.
So that when he loses, he has an army. That's the reason why he wants these people out, to pardon these people. If he was president, those are going to be his army. Another part of his army. This guy is never, ever thinking about people.
No, it's about him. It's about how can you all support me? It's never been about, and see, anybody who thinks that he is about them is quite frankly not that bright, is not playing with a full deck of cards or coloring with all 64 colors in the Crayola crayon box.
Yes.
Yeah, G says that is very important, and they're already trying to get this together.
And that's fine.
When Kamala wins,
yes,
they're going to try not to certify the election.
So, all right, Gwendolyn, that's the point I wanted to make. Here's the thing. People think that local elections do not matter. It's so important. The stage has already been set. A lot of these people that oversee the elections are election deniers that have already won those offices. And they've already stated, I don't need to win by vote, because you know what? They won't certify the vote. And then they'll have to go to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has already proven that they're going to be for Trump and give him what he wants. So either which way, if he does not win the popular vote, if he does not win the Electoral College, because he's got these people in local government set already, they're not going to certify the elections, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court. If you think that the whole Bush versus what was it? Gore. Oh wait, we're in for a shit show.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to win by. It has to be a tidal wave.
A complete way on all levels.
Yes,
it's not just the president.
On an unprecedented
all
level.
Levels.
Yeah.
All levels. You have to, when you're looking at these things, and I know it's annoying that you get all these, like every day I'm getting flyers and things in my mailbox. Well, I don't need this. I know who's running. But think about it. That's your sheriff. Like, so here, we have sheriff is up for a re-election. You've got judges that are up for re-election. You have all of these different offices that you need to think about besides just the presidential election. All of those matter too, because you're going to feel it more at the local level amongst this and at the state level. So that's why this matters. So this whole nonsense of only voting every 4 years, honestly, that's useless. That's useless. You have to pay attention every
board,
election,
every election, every sheriff, every board member, every school board member, every election matters. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't be having them.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
So you got to get your grandfather, you got to get young kids, you got to get the cat ladies out. Everybody needs to vote.
Jazzy says the House and Senate need to be amplified more than the presidency, for being honest. Yes, we need the presidency as well, but if she doesn't have the House and a Senate, none of this will matter. I mean, that's the point. That is the point. That is the point. If you guys are in Instagram, come on over to the YouTube channel, Touch Base Daily. You'll get a better experience here on YouTube. So check out and make sure you also like, subscribe, and share as we get ready to close out. It is 10:57, so we'll get you guys out of here. And I got a photo shoot to do, and so I gotta leave you guys and get that as well. So I can't stay on here long. Just want to make sure. Dr. Tachi, thank you so much.
Thank you
for being on here. You know, and this is what I love. Again, I say our community is amazing. Is that, think about, Dr. Tachi is not only a professor, she is a journalist. She focuses on media. She knows social media. She knows regular media. She knows the news media. We got all of these resources in this community. And I always say, tap in. If you want to have some knowledge, you want to gain knowledge on any particular subject, there's some folks in this building that are in this community that are extremely proficient in what they know. So make sure you reach out and touch, connect, build relationships, build friendships. So that way you not only are withdrawing from relationships, but you've made lots of deposits in relationships. So once in a while, you can make those withdrawals. Okay? Dr. Tachi, I'm going to let you go because you have been, as always, a delight. Love you. Love you
more. Love you guys more.
And we were able to get Brian and everybody else who wanted to come on because I wanted to really focus and keep it concise. And but thank you, Brian, and the folks back out there that wanted to come on. But I just wanted to make sure we drove home the points and what we needed to talk about today. And so this was really good, and it's an honor to have Dr. Tachi in the building on this panel with the two of us, with Chris and myself. And so again, thank you, Dr. Tachi. Enjoy. Thank you so much. Happy August. I'm gonna let you go.
August. Sheesh,
I'm gonna let you go, Dr. Tachi.
Bye.
Man, that was awesome. I'm so glad we had her here. Chris, we're blessed.
Yes, we are. Guess what? We know some really good people.
We know some really cool people, and there's some really cool people in this community. Guys, again, if you are just joining us and joining this community, we are a community. We try to keep a safe space here, so that way you can just share, express your ideas, express yourself, unless you go rogue and start calling people names. Then we have to get rid of you and kind of like press the eject button. However, though, if you are interested, make sure you subscribe to this community. We're here. We're trying to encourage each other and build one another up. And again, two things we want you to focus on. One is definitely the election, getting the information out every day about Kamala Harris. Keep pushing in your feeds all the positive stuff about Kamala. Keep pushing it because the Republicans got all kinds of crap out there. We do not want the algorithms to gain footage on that crap. And why should we even pass it on? It's not worth it. It's lies. Absolutely. It's full of lies and it's junk. Let's make sure we keep pushing the truth. Like, I love what Kamala took her stance yesterday and said, you know what? I'm not really even going to address what he did. I'm just going to say America deserves better. Yeah. And at the end of the day, America deserves better. And it is our job. It's our job to continue to keep the positive energy that is flowing through all of these communities that are for Harris. And then also, this is truly, I mean, a correction from yesterday. Yesterday, I told you that the first election, like it's 48 days. It is, I believe it's 78 or 76 days away. So the first vote is in 76 or 78 days. Double check that again. But it's not 48, it's 70. 76, 78 days. So make sure you are on the rolls. Make sure that you are able to vote. Make sure that they haven't taking you off the rolls, because there's states around the country that have lost 20,000, 10,000, 15,000, 800, 500. People have been purged from their roles, and you go into the voting booth and you think you're going to be able to vote, and they're going to say, you've been off. You're not on the list. Your name is not here. So make sure you go in and check out if you are on the rolls. And if you haven't gotten your election cards of where you are to vote by now, for most states, you might want to think about checking in and seeing if you are still on the rolls.
Yeah.
Elise says, vote blue. As she always says, she's a constant. She lets us know, vote blue up and down the ballot, because that's what's going to make this election count. We need to reform the Supreme Court. We got a lot of work ahead of us, but we can only do it together. We can only do this work together. Okay. I think my soapbox, I've exhausted my soapbox today. Thank you, Elise. Thank you, everybody out there. Hey, what's going on, Golf, Twitler? So all these folks out here, let's make sure we do us right and what we're supposed to be doing. Chris, any last words?
Just keep your eyes and ears peeled, listen to what's going on out there, and let's get the vote out in November.
And push positive. So live life like you mean it and focus on what matters. See you guys, and love you all, and we will see you tomorrow at Focus Friday. Tomorrow's Focus Friday. Later. I'm getting to that button. I'm getting to it. Bye.